Hey there, everyone. Today I'm going to do this video talking about the various things that I encountered in my 10 years away from the US. So here's the first. This is like, I'll do this in a couple parts because I wrote it in a couple parts. Originally, I was chronicling it on Facebook, and this is just basically the kind of reactions I had to being back in the US for the first time in 10 years, which was, a little jarring. But day one was entirely a travel day. So, I got up, and went to the airport. And this is obviously in Tokyo. I went to the airport and I went out. I had to work that day too, so I went out. I worked all day, and then I came home and finished packing, and then I went to the airport at like 10 p.m. or something, and left. My flight left around 12:30 a.m. So from that time, like I got to the airport at like 11 or so, and I had to sit around the airport for a while, check bags and all that. But the first day of travel is like I spent literally 24 hours in either an airport or an airplane. That was a full day of just that. But even that, it began the giant cavalcade of things that I was like not not expecting, or just wasn't used to anymore. There was a lot of things like that where it was like, had I still been living in the U.S., I just wouldn't have had to worry about it. I would have just been like, oh, that's normal. But since I haven't, it's there was like all these weird kind of jarring things. The first the first thing I wanted to talk about was that if you're in the airport, there's apparently an American uniform. If you guys haven't noticed this, if you're let's give this an arbitrary cutoff date. If you are, say, over 30, your uniform is sandals, shorts, and a polo shirt. And if you're under 30, your uniform is sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt. That's like it. That's all I saw for people, the clothes people were wearing at the airport. I mean, take in account this is August, so it's not exactly chilly outside, but like um, every once in a while you'd see people with sneakers, shorts, and a polo shirt, but mostly sandals, shorts, and a polo shirt. That was like everybody. It was it was like so weird coming to that and just being like, wow, it's like everybody like got together and decided like these are just the clothes we're gonna wear. This rigid kind of three or four things in various colors and patterns. Kind of a thing that I think most people wouldn't notice or even care about, but being in Tokyo, it's the kind of thing you notice. And I think, again, taking into account that like I'm at the airport, so there is a certain kind of person who's going to be at the airport. Someone with enough money to travel, obviously. Someone with, that kind of thing. There's a lot of things going on at the airport, but um, you also have to take into account that, you know, it's the summer. So there's that. But it was kind of weird because, like, it's not summer in Japan, but people have various clothing styles that they use and enjoy, and not so much in the airport of the U.S. at least, but more so in the airport in Tokyo. But it could be a city thing also because my friends were incredulous that like I didn't see anybody with other clothing. Well, like people who live in New York were like, that's it. But like, yeah, I wasn't in New York. I mean, I was in like Detroit and Seattle airports, and that's all you got. So that was one of the thing. Also, there's apparently two acceptable haircuts in America. You've got short and cropped on the sides, and slightly less short and cropped on the sides. Like that's essentially it. Like it's various variations of that. That was like, because as you can see, my hair is not like that. And it was like a thing. People were, like some places I could go. This is like not on the first day, obviously, but I'd go into places and like people would stare at me and stuff. It's like a little awkward. Um, but yeah, the haircut situation is, whew, um, again, this was at the airport, so this is all like my first day reactions. Like, obviously, there were more haircuts, but like when I'm having this reaction, it was like everybody had this same kind of like cropped on the sides and short, or cropped on the side, like slightly less cropped on the sides and slightly longer, or like this kind of um, haircut, like, like a kind of combed over to the side kind of thing. That was about it. That was the things that I noticed right away. At the airport, though, you have such a weird, because like I said, I'm 24 hours at the airport. You got to eat something. You're on the plane. I mean, you get meals on the plane, but I was on my flight there. I had like two stopovers, like two layovers in two different places. So I didn't have like meals on the plane. I just had snacks, except on the first flight where I had a full meal. Um, and you get to the airport and you're like kind of hungry and you're looking around, you want something to eat, but American airports are the worst places to get food. um, if you want to buy something, like you just want to go to the shops that sell food, and you've got restaurants, but they're all, obviously they're overpriced, but they're also, like, every restaurant serves something that's huge and fried. Or and if you want to go to the convenience store or something, you can get like um, some kind of sweet beverage and giant bags of candy. That's like your only options. And like I'm not even exaggerating when I say like the smallest bag of candy is like the giant size bag. Like there's no option. You've just got like the biggest size you can get. And and if you were like, well, like, I was thinking like, oh, I'll get something that's relatively like gonna give me some energy and not be straight up candy. And I was like, I guess I could get trail mix, but those only came in like giant 2-pound bags. Just I just threw my hands up and gave up. I was just can't eat here. This is in Seattle where I was stuck for hours. And yeah, so I gave up eating in Seattle because all the restaurants were, you know, crazy fried stuff or um, candy. That was essentially it. And eventually I got to Detroit where my second layover was. And that was the pretty much the same situation. But because I was so hungry, I ended up getting a burrito. And I thought like, okay, this burrito place, I don't remember the name, but it's like Subway in the sense that you can like pick all the stuff that goes into your burrito as they make it, and they'll just like throw it all in for you. So you don't have to pick from a list. And I thought like, oh, well, I'll do that. And it's morning time, so they were serving breakfast burritos. And I went there and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get a breakfast burrito, but I don't want almost all the stuff you guys have listed as a breakfast burrito. So can I just swap all that stuff out for other stuff? And they're like, okay. And I took off there's like fried potatoes and stuff, and some kind of cheese sauce, and you know fried stuff. I don't even know. It was just like a huge amount of stuff, and I was like, okay, just take all that stuff off. And they were like, this is not a breakfast burrito anymore. I'm like, okay, add in eggs and give me some chicken breast, and then throw in all the vegetables there. That was it. And I had them do that, and I thought, oh, well, that's relatively healthy. It's at least it's not nothing is fried, and nothing is like some kind of mystery cheese sauce or cheese or something that's like incredibly, not going to be good for traveling or whatever. And I thought, okay, this is all right. Except you come to the conclusion that like, you know, even though it was like mostly vegetables, it was literally the size of my forearm. It was this big. Um, I took a picture, but it doesn't have anything in there to show the size of it, so it just looks like a burrito. So I'm not gonna post it in the video, but it's it was like huge, huge, the size of my forearm, huge. And I thought, um, this is gonna be a theme, and that was my first meal in the U.S. was a burrito the size of my arm. Not something I can get in Tokyo.